welcome to How We Met. I'm Sheryl Strich, and every month I interview two couples who tell their story about how they met. Today I have Gary and Linda Russell. Linda's a licensed clinical social worker and is still working. And having worked as a medical and school social worker, therapist, and clinical supervisor, she's now consulting with the OC Department of Education. She hasn't officially joined any clubs yet, but attends events, and according to Gary, is a Zumba fanatic. Gary is active in pickleball, having just won silver in the Village Games. He's also president of the PC Club and teaches classes there. And I've been told that he writes and records music. Welcome, Gary and Linda. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having us.
Great to be here.
I should have worn my medals, but I only had gold.
Well,
Sorry.
Well,
that's still good.
Anyway, as you know, because I told you before, I always ask 3 questions. So the first question is, where are you from?
Go ahead.
I'm from Newport Beach.
Ooh.
I'm a local girl.
All the way.
Yep.
Okay.
Corona Del Mar High, and
Okay.
stayed here. Spent a couple years in upstate New York, but basically stayed in Southern California.
Great place to be from.
It is.
How about you, Gary?
My roots go back to Northwest Ohio, Midwest, and then I just kept moving west. Went to school at Wisconsin, Madison, and then came to California in 1983.
Were you in Wisconsin during the student strikes?
Yeah, we had our fair share of those, yes. Very liberal campus in a very conservative state.
I always thought I wanted to be in Wisconsin, but I didn't go there.
Madison is fantastic.
That's a beautiful
Okay.
place.
Let me remember what my next question is. How long have you been a couple?
That goes back to 1991.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So you've been a couple since 1991.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you been in Laguna Woods?
That's a year and 4 months.
You've been in Laguna Woods
We've been-
only?
Only a year and 4 months.
Only a year?
December of 23,
Right.
Wow.
we came in.
Oh,
Yes.
boy. I
Feels
feel like-
longer.
I feel like you've been here forever.
Yeah.
Gee.
Well, Gary.
Yeah. A lot of people have that sensation. Sure.
Okay.
Feels longer.
All right. How'd you meet?
Okay, I'll start us off.
Okay.
We had a sort of a ritual where we had a party in Placentia with a bunch of
Bunch of guys had a party?
guys had a party looking for a bunch of girls to come to the party because we were all engineers.
Oh.
And one of the hosts of the party had met a woman, and it turns out they now live here in Laguna Woods too.
They're very dear friends of ours. Yeah. They came first.
Have
That's
they
right.
been on my show?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Try
Okay.
to get them on.
Okay, good.
But Linda showed up at that party, and we struck up a conversation, but did not see each other for a while. She dated a friend of mine first.
Oh,
Yeah, well, okay, so this party, Dave, his friend, as he said, lots of man friends from Raytheon.
okay.
And I worked at Chalk at the time with Joy, who later became Dave's wife. But Joy was a recreation therapist, and I'm kind of not social, to be honest. I'm a social worker, but, you know,
Antisocial social
antisocial
worker.
social worker. Joy, on the other hand, dragged me everywhere. She's like, come on, you got to go. You got to go. And she did that because Chalk, Children's Hospital, is full of women.
Right.
So,
And Raytheon was full of men.
full of men.
Mostly.
So I went to this party with her kind of reluctantly and quite frankly never made it out of the foyer. It was like a reception line. Hi, my name is... And so we barely met at that party. And
But you met Dave.
had known Dave,
Oh,
and I met another fella
Okay.
who had the temerity to ask me out first.
okay.
So we dated briefly, and then...
Good friend of mine, good guy.
Yeah.
Why'd you let him jump ahead?
Well, I was seeing somebody at the time, but he
Just as well.
he seized the initiative. Good for him.
Yeah.
And I do remember when I was ready to ask her out, I did talk to him and say, "Hey, are you okay if I now ask Linda out?"
Okay, so now how long ago was, what was the time?
That was 1991.
No.
Oh,
Was the time you met her? You
Just
met
a couple
her.
of months.
couple of months.
What
Yeah.
made you decide to want to go to date her?
I had my eye on her from the beginning. However, I had to finish up another relationship, and it just took a little while to sort of work out the kinks and decide that.
So
Actually, the first time he asked me out, I already was committed with somebody else, right? My grandmother, but still.
so were you surprised when Gary called you?
No, these are engineers. Cheryl, no.
Yeah.
There was a whole lot of planning that went on behind the scenes, I gathered first.
I was told that if I asked her out, she would say yes.
And who told you this?
Well, some friends. They had it locked down.
Okay.
And then I called
See?
and I asked her
Engineers.
out, and she said no.
Did people approach you to find out?
Not really. Well, someone had asked, "Oh, do you remember Gary?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure," because he was a total cutie.
Okay. And then, okay.
So she said no.
She said no?
Yeah, so
did.
much for the sure thing.
Yeah.
So I asked her out for the next night, and she goes, "No, I can't make that either." And I was thinking, okay, my inside information wasn't so good.
And you didn't give him any reason why?
Well,
She did.
I did. I explained that I was camping out in the desert with my grandma.
Well,
And so,
I mean, you had to
hey.
understand that.
Then I had to wash my hair.
That hit me later in life. Yes. We went out the very next day on a Sunday of all things.
As soon as you got back from camping?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and then that was it.
Wait, quick question. How many generations Newport Beach are you?
3.
3 generations Newport Beach?
Yeah.
What a great life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My grandparents
I'm just a little
Had a
envious
house.
right now.
Yeah, understandably.
gave me
right.
every reason to be.
Okay, let's go on.
Anyway,
All right, so where did you go?
First date was the Spaghetti Factory in Newport Beach.
Okay.
Second date was,
Wait. How soon did you call Linda after the first date?
I think it was 2.25 days I waited.
Did you expect him to call you?
absolutely, I expected. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we were not babies at this point.
Okay.
He was
Mid-30s, 34.
34, and I was, well, no, you were 33. Oh, well,
Yep.
mid-30s.
Okay. All right.
So I'm older than Gare.
Oh, aren't we all?
Not our first
Yeah.
rodeo, though, so,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All
So
right.
I knew the proper length of time to wait. Not too soon. You don't want to go too soon.
Okay, and then did you just become an item?
Pretty quick. It
Pretty
took
quick,
about 2
yeah.
or 3 dates. Five Crowns Restaurant in Dana
Ooh.
Point was number 2.
Ooh, okay, that's a nice
And
date.
then we eventually worked our way up to the Summit House in Fullerton and the Hobbit in Orange. So, I was trying to impress her.
Were you suitably impressed?
Suitably impressed, although The Hobbit was kind of a interesting. He
Yeah.
got sick in the. I don't know if you remember The Hobbit, or if you know about The Hobbit. Very, very fancy. Multiple courses.
Okay.
And he got sick after the second course and disappeared.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I was sitting there, and the chefs were bringing all this fancy food, and they very kindly looked at me. I was like, "You should be coming back any minute now." And I ended up. They would. If you had leftovers, they'd put it in a big tinfoil swan. And I ended up with a flock of swans in front of me. He never was able to come back.
Oh, no.
He was super
Not
sick.
my best moment, but
Did
makes
you
for a
dri-
great story.
Did you drive there together?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, he was, yeah.
Okay.
I got him home.
Yeah, and then we started dating and said we're going to have a 5-year plan, right? Which didn't go very far. We made it only 1 year, and instead of let's do this, then let's get married, then let's have a baby. We had the baby first, and then we got married, and all this other stuff just fell into place happily.
Yeah.
So I love your wedding picture with your daughter.
Yeah,
You bet.
Yeah,
you
and
bet.
she had her own special wedding dress.
She
Of
did.
course she did. She was the belle of the ball.
that picture was taken at the Cal State Fullerton Arboretum
Okay.
on July 16th of 1994 is the day we got married.
Okay.
And she was in the audience being held by a good friend of ours. And as they said, we now pronounce you man and wife. We started walking back. We got to the point where she was, and she started crying, and I stopped, picked her up, and we
Oh.
walked the rest of the way
As a
Oh.
family.
as a family. And some people said that was the highlight of the wedding for us.
How sweet.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Does your other daughter mind that she wasn't there?
She reminds us.
She reminds her
Kids are like
sister
that.
sometimes,
That's
too. Not, yeah.
It's a fun
That was so
moment.
fun.
It's so
She's-
unfair.
Yeah, missed the party.
All right. So then what happened? I mean, so then the 5-year plan went down the
Kablooey.
tubes.
Yeah,
Kablooey,
yeah. So
yeah.
we moved from Fullerton to Anaheim Hills, had our second child, Claire, in that house.
I was
And-
pregnant when we did the move, and
Okay.
our poor realtor showed me 48 houses
In the dead of summer.
in the dead of summer in
In
a
Anaheim.
Jaguar with the baby in the back seat throwing crackers over the. That woman was a saint.
Yeah,
But yeah, we found our place in Anaheim Hills where we lived until we moved here.
raised the girls there.
And I know that moving here you had a very big event happen when you moved here.
We were in the middle of big events. He'd lost his sister to pancreatic cancer that year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My mother was dying, which is why we came,
Okay.
so I could be close to her.
Was she living in Laguna Woods?
No,
Newport
she was living
Beach?
in Newport Beach,
Okay.
and I was commuting every
Right.
day from Anaheim Hills.
Okay.
And yeah, so we came down to rent, and then my family came for Christmas. My mother,
Right.
we thought we were going to lose her at Christmas. And then the day after Christmas, he was not feeling great, and went ahead, but I had family and mom and, everything. So he went on ahead home by himself, and I came later, and that's when we had the accident.
I don't know if you want to say.
I can describe the act, well, sort of,
You
from
have
what
2
I
You
remember.
have 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make
Really
it
quick.
short.
Okay.
Yeah, so I blacked out and hit a nightstand and had a 6-day visit with Mission Hospital and major trauma surgery.
Oh, my.
And that was my welcome to Laguna Woods.
But it was
But-
also what led us to love this place.
Oh, yeah,
Because it's a wonderful place. People were so supportive.
Oh,
Our
good.
neighbors were right there for us. He could recover here in a way
Yes.
he never could have. We could never have. I don't even know if he'd have survived.
right, because the ambulance, well,
Yeah.
you were passed out, but as soon as
Yeah.
you found him, the ambulance
Yeah.
came right away.
Yeah,
They
right
did,
away,
and then
he
I
could come home faster
Right.
too.
started walking to Clubhouse 5, working out, and I think I was on the pickleball courts within a month.
Had you been
with my
playing
permission.
pickleball?
Well, not much.
Oh,
So it was a fast recovery,
Right.
and that was my intro to the club.
So for only playing for less than a year, you did really well in the Village Games,
Well, we're coming along.
especially
Maybe
in
I
the category
plateaued.
that you were in. I'm very impressed.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And you're president of the PC Club?
Yeah,
Is there-
that happened because I started teaching there, and then the current president had some health issues and asked if I'd take over. And we're both in defense industry, so it was a natural transition. And so those are the major 2 things that I do here, and I love it.
So before we're about to wrap up, but is there anything is there anything special going on in the PC Club right now?
Well, our general meeting is coming up in June 10th, I think it is, and we welcome everybody to come and learn. And they just announced the broadband, and we're going to be teaching classes on that and helping people with that. So that's
Great.
my little public service announcement
Perfect,
there.
perfect. Anyway, and there was just an announcement, an email that was just sent out to all.
This morning,
Yes, to
Right.
everybody.
yeah.
So,
So I'm following right behind that, and the PC Club will be helping people with all their questions
oh,
and
perfect.
what they need to know.
Good, perfect. Hey, this wasn't hard. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I'm really glad you came. Thank you.
Us too. Thanks for having us.
Our next couple are Neil and Lynn Rosenstein. Neil is in Guise of Leisure, Men's Discussion Group, Rummy Cube Group, Reformed Temple Choir, along with the Community Bridge Builders Choir. They're both members of the Reformed Temple of Laguna Woods, where Lynn is the past president and current vice president of membership, along with fundraising committee member. She's the ORT Publicity Chair and a member of Community Bridge Builders, the Democratic Club, the Concerned Citizens, the College Club, and Friends of the Jewish Federation of Orange County. Currently, Lynn is chairing for the 4th time the Jewish Food Festival, which is on June 22nd in Clubhouse 1. Wow! Welcome, Lynn and Neil. Thanks so much for coming on.
It's our pleasure.
As you know, I always ask 3 questions, and I know you've been prepping for this. So the first question is, where are you from?
Actually, I was born in Los Angeles, a very rare kind of what they call a prune picker. born in California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you stayed in California?
My whole life.
Yeah.
Oh, in the LA area?
Yeah, pretty much actually in Long Beach, mostly.
So it's all the same Southern California.
Right.
And you, Lynn?
I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
Ah,
but my parents came here when I was 18 months. So I've been in California for my whole life except for
where
two.
did your parents move to?
Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then we moved to Long Beach, and
Okay.
both Neil and I grew up in Long Beach.
Okay, but so you're not a native.
No, just about.
Almost a native.
Just about.
How long have you guys been a couple?
Since 1957.
Oh, okay.
How long have we been?
A couple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We met each other when we were 16.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We're not ready. I have one more question. And how long have you been in Laguna Woods?
Almost 8 years.
Okay, so you came around the same time I did.
Yes.
And we started doing the same things at the same time, but you
Yes.
moved on and I just stayed below.
Yes.
All right.
You did very well.
How'd you meet?
On a double date.
You met on a double date
Yes.
in high school?
We were
Yes.
both in high school. At
But
the
I
time.
was not his date. Actually, no, I wasn't his
That's
date.
right, you weren't.
But after that date, Neil called the other fellow and said, "I'd like to take Lynn out." And he said, "Be my guest." So that we've been together since we were 16.
Were you expecting Neil to call you?
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
So here's a trick question, because a lot of times in long marriages this happens. Do you remember what Lynn was wearing when you met her?
No.
Oh,
No.
Honest, I really don't.
it's okay, but I'm always shocked when people do remember.
No.
No.
I had one night, Dennis Glauber remembered what his.
Oh, well, Dennis is
Yeah.
kind of mind like a steel
Right,
trap.
right. All right. So you're in high school. Same high school?
No.
No.
Oh,
Same city, but
same city.
different
not
high
schools.
schools.
Right.
Okay. And you had a car?
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
So where'd you go on your first date?
We ended up at a place to get a soda. And we always went to this place, and Lynn got a chocolate soda, and I got a cherry soda, or I don't remember. If I might have got the chocolate soda, she got the cherry soda. But we used to switch off and go to this place like every couple of weeks.
Oh, so from that moment on, you were a couple?
We were a couple pretty much from that moment on. Yeah.
I mean, we would date other people periodically when we were in college.
Did you go to the same college?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, we went to Cal State Long Beach when it was Cal State Long
When
Beach.
it was Long Beach State College.
Yeah, that's right.
so you would
that's right.
periodically date other people?
Yeah, because it's just we were too young.
Okay. Okay.
But we knew that at some point we would be married.
How interesting.
Yes.
How interesting. So you both graduated from college?
No, she graduated from college. I had a situation where I had to go to work in a family business that otherwise my father became ill and I had to take over.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I never finished my education.
Okay. All right. But you've continued on and you finished college, and then you went to work. And how soon? So you must have had money to have an apartment and a car.
Well, we did have a nice apartment. It was like 2 blocks from where my parents' home.
And very close to the
And
college.
very close to
Oh, okay.
Long Beach State College.
Well, when did you get married?
We were 21.
So you were doing the business. You were in the business, and had you graduated from college?
No, we
Oh.
got married at the end of my junior year.
Oh. Oh,
So
which is
I
why
had-
it was good that the
I-
house was close.
Right, and I had one more year to finish, which I did.
How interesting. And then did you work in the family business or?
No,
Oh, yeah, she did.
only during Christmas, only during the holidays.
What was the business?
It was a
It was
men's.
a men's clothing store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So they must have needed your help.
yeah,
During the holidays, we needed everybody.
right, right.
So how long did you have it?
I'm my father opened it in 1941, and I sold it in 1993.
Okay, all right. What did you do after college? Did you work?
I was a mother.
Oh, you were a mother.
Not my plan. My plan was to teach school for a couple of years, but I think we got pregnant after a month and a half of being married. Yeah.
So at that time, did you have to give up your job? Oh, no, you
didn't.
were in school. You were in
Right.
school and you were pregnant.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
Senior year in college, she was pregnant.
And you were able to finish school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I remember a very funny story. She was an English major in college, and she had an English teacher that she really respected and liked, and
Who never married.
who never married, who had a basket.
No, she had cats. And she was so afraid I was going to have the baby in her class.
Oh.
Yeah, she wanted to know if she should bring something for me, to put the baby in. I said, trust me, I'll have warning. I will leave. You won't have to have this problem.
So that's very interesting because at that time, when you were in school, this was the early 60s,
Yeah.
when women who were pregnant were not very popular. I mean, it wasn't a big, not that you weren't popular.
Not
but-
only that, I was president of something called the Women's Standards Board,
Oh, God.
which dealt with women who came late to the dorms or late to the sorority houses.
Right.
And here I was.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, it wasn't really a problem, except some of my classes were on the 3rd floor and they only had stairs. So, but we made it.
So did you go into labor during?
No.
You were not in school.
No, I was
No.
not at school at the time.
So it must have been helpful having your mother-in-law nearby.
It was. Also, my mother wasn't far.
Okay. Oh, right, but you stayed at home.
Right.
And that's what everybody did.
So that's our story.
Well, then when did your second daughter?
Yeah.
Oh, that was planned.
That was the first one can take 6 months. The second one is always a full-term baby.
No, they both took 9 months.
That was my story.
Oh, that was your
That was
story.
my story.
Our second daughter was born 2 years later.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And how many grandchildren do you
We
have
have
now?
two
Two.
grandchildren.
Okay. And have you taken any family trips?
Oh yeah, we've taken we meet sometimes we would meet our family, especially around Northern California, around the Mendocino area,
Right.
which is an area that we
And we also had a Thanksgiving in Yosemite.
Oh, at the Awani?
No, we rented a house.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Lynn loves to take when the kids were young, the grandchildren, on what they called at that time it was
Elder
It was
hostel.
called Elder Hostel.
Now it's Rhodes
And
Scholars.
With Rhodes Scholars now.
Okay.
And she would take each grandchild maybe 2 or 3 times, different
4
summers,
times.
4 times, on a trip with them.
Oh, how
And,
nice.
Oh, it was great.
She loved it.
Neil doesn't love to travel.
Okay.
And so this gave me time.
So you would take them on a kids elder hostel.
Right,
Yeah.
right. With it's called intergenerational.
Right.
And it was fun. I took 4 trips with each kid.
How nice.
Yeah.
How really nice. I wanted to ask, so when you sold the store, what did you do after that?
I had made an investment in an import company that I went to work with,
Okay.
and that lasted about 3 years. And then she wouldn't quit working. So
We
I-
haven't mentioned what you did when you went back to work.
She became assistant director of the Long Beach Jewish Community Center,
For how
which
many?
means that she ran it.
Right.
No, don't say that. My boss lives in the community.
How many years did you do that, Lynn?
22. I worked up to being the assistant director.
After your kids grew up.
Yeah.
Actually, they were in junior high when I started. they would come home from school and run up the stairs and say, "Hi, Mom," and that, and I thought, I don't need to be home waiting.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
Well, I'm sure Long Beach Community Center really was happy to have you.
Well, I was happy to be there. It was a great job.
And you have brought some really great things to our community. I think I want to ask you some questions, but first I want to put on my t-shirt so we can start asking questions properly.
Great. I almost wore mine.
Lynn, you've run this for 4 years. Tell us about the Jewish Food Festival.
Oh, I'd love to tell you about this. We lived for a while in Bakersfield, California, because our daughter and grandchildren were growing up there. And they did a Jewish food festival, so it wasn't an original idea. But this festival involves people from our temple as volunteers and makes them feel part of fun and successful production, which it is. And it also involves all the Jewish organizations in the village: National Council of Jewish Women, Friends of Federation, ORT, Hadassah, and the Shalom Club last time we did it because they were still working, they were still here, and also Chabad of Laguna Woods and Aliso Viejo. So everybody works together, nobody competes, and that's in itself is a good thing. And it's open to everyone in the community.
I am in charge. I'm the chair of Bagels and Lox. What else is going to be there?
Okay, besides bagels and lox, there's going to be pastrami sandwiches, brisket sandwiches. We get the brisket from Yolanda, so it's terrific. Dr. Brown's soda, which is, if anyone lived on the East Coast, they're familiar with that. It's a staple of delis. And lots of people in our congregation bake. Almost 50 people are going to be baking. Ort sells noodle kugel, and everyone participates.
I'm getting hungry.
Yeah. So, and the event is free.
Yes.
Everybody just comes in and they buy tickets to exchange for food. And nobody is then handling money, which is
Yes.
good.
Yes.
And everyone who is making the sandwiches and working with food is wearing gloves. So we're really conscious of taking care of everyone's health.
I hope that a lot of people come to this and come to the Bagels and Lox table and say, Sheryl sent me. Because that's my thing.
It is your thing.
It's my thing.
Yeah. In addition, we have a klezmer band. A klezmer is a combination of
Kind of jazz and Eastern European
Right.
music.
And there's going to be Israeli dancing.
Israeli dancing led by Rebecca Galad. And this year we have a sleight of hand magician who is the son of one of our members, Carol Bowler, and he's coming all the way out from Michigan to do
Perfect.
this.
Nice.
So there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of music. It's just very upbeat.
I can't wait to work. Anyway, thank you so much for you guys coming on. I got the 2-minute warning 10 minutes ago, so so time to wrap it up. But thank you so much. I'm so glad you were on.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thank you.
If you'd like to come on to the show, email us at lwvcouples@gmail.com. Include your name, phone number, and email address, and brief description of your story.